There's a tribe of lizardmen who were peacefully going about their day until death came along and announced that they only had a couple of days to prepare before they got wiped off the face of the earth. Which after a hard-fought battle, the supervillain of this anime decided to show up and tell them that since they all look so happy celebrating, how about another doomsday counter for them? This time, instead of weak skeletons, it's going to be this overpowered bug that took too many steroids. But before they get completely folded by these demigods, how did all of this happen? Well, it all started with our boy, Zaryusu Shasha, who caught his brother drooling over his fish farm. His brother is the chieftain, while he himself is a traveler. It tells him how juicy the fishes in his ponds are, which has him twitching to sink his teeth into some. Haha, your wife was right. Your tail gives you away, brother. His brother is a bit annoyed that his wife is talking behind his back, but says he'll understand when he gets married. Zaryusu though believes that he'll be a virgin for life, since he's an outcast to his clan. He's done quite a lot of things for his clan, like making a fish farm, which was possible thanks to his brother. Once they get a little bigger, I'll make sure you get the first pick of the lot. Don't keep me waiting too long. The lizard people live peacefully here. Kids are running around, women are— what the hell was that? The chief here quickly takes control of the situation and tells everyone who isn't a man to go back inside. Zaryusu arrives in a panic, and this ball of just pain and terror descends from hell before telling everyone how cooked they are. Well, listen and hear my words, you animals. The Great One has sent me to deliver a message. The Great One has gathered an army to destroy your pitiful race. Nevertheless, you have been mercifully granted time to prepare for your doom. Season those cheeks up, cause there's no running or hiding. The Great One wants to see you struggle while his minions butcher every single one of you. Death comes in 8 days. Holy— I think I need a change of pants. And so does his granny. She explains that what they saw was a high-level magic spell, 4th tier to be exact. She has dedicated her life to magic and can only muster a 2nd tier. She suggests evacuating, but the chief is outraged by her suggestion. The other guy says that we still need time to think. The chief turns to his brother, Zaryusu, who also wants to stand and fight. The others try to denounce him, just because he's a traveler, but chief says, "That's my brother. Watch your tongue." Zaryusu is a smart boy. Chief, you shouldn't give him special treatment just because he's your brother. Shut your old ass up. There's definitely a divide that is caused by Zaryusu being here. He holds a special weapon called Frostbane that gives him quite the rep around here. So why should we fight? Because it's our only choice. The old lady asks if they can win, which Chief is like, hell nah. He makes the point that they lack forces and fighters. The foe must know of that. Zaryusu brings up back in the day, there used to be 7 clans, each with their own unique attributes. But after there was a food shortage, they began slaughtering each other for whatever remained. They beat up 2 of the clans and allied with 3, while the others stayed out of it. So with that, they decided to hit up the old homies to help them fight against this unknown enemy. Everyone begins agreeing with bro, but after he says, nah, not just the 2 other tribes we fought with, but with everyone. Some disagree, but his brother agrees. He asks who will be negotiating the alliance, which Zaryusu says he'll do it. But aren't you an outsider? It matters not. If they refuse me because I'm an outsider, then they're on their own. His brother ends up agreeing and gives him the chief's seal. This makes his job a lot easier. That night, Zaryusu is carrying some big old fish. His brother is here thinking that those are for him, but it's for this giant beast in this shack. His brother believes that Zaryusu should have been the one to be chief instead of him. Zaryusu though agrees since he wouldn't have learned how to farm or how to read. His brother believes that he could have done it here since he's such a bright young man. His brother confronts him about how he'll go about allying with the other clans. Zaryusu says he'll kill them if they refuse. That's the only way to avoid any other wars. They must unite no matter what. His brother gets a bit worried, but Zaryusu just calls out, row row row. This giant serpent appears and he tells him, it's time to go. This is Zaryusu's small dog. It looks a bit different, but despite how it looks, it's much nicer than the pitbull named Cupcake. He gets onto it before setting off. His brother wishes him well, which he disappears off into the distance. After a while, Zaryusu arrives at one of the clans. They greet him and say the chief of the village will meet him right away. He's brought to this hut, and as he announces himself, a female voice says, come in. He parts the curtain and sees this baddie. She tries to speak, but brother is over here baffled and speechless. She thinks his reaction is due to him being shocked, but nah. Bro instantly wants to make babies. She asks if he's okay, but he responds by saying, God damn! in his own language. She becomes very flustered, and after a while, brother here remembers that he's not here for some cheeks. She introduces herself as Crush Lulu and asks why he's here, but bro says, let's get married and start a family. Zaryusu has completely forgotten the reason why he's here in the first place and is now busy trying to wed this girl. She's flattered and is surprised that he isn't scared of her white skin. She's an albino and most are into that.
As white as the snow blanketing yonder mountains. Beautiful color.
What did you say?
Brothers tries to touch her, which makes her attack his arm and asks why. He's trying to touch her without even asking. Right, Zaryusu. Consent, you gotta ask first. He's fallen for her and knows that they could die. That's why he's here. Well, no. He's here to talk about the doomsday counter. She says that they also got a visit. Zaryusu manages to convince her to join his alliance, which he then asks how they survived the past war, where there was a food shortage. Her tribe stayed out of the battle. Maybe they found something that would be their salvation. She says definitely not. What they did to stay alive was something that was more like hell than salvation. They ate their fellow lizardmen. Crush Lulu despised that and created a revolt against the previous chief who died smiling. This still haunts her to this day and she feels very guilty about it and wonders if she was the one in the wrong. Zaryusu says, it is what it is. Let's just focus on what we can do. After encouraging her and giving her a cold speech, brother raises her up and got her all hot and bothered. Zaryusu says that if they fight and lose, they will die, and if they run, they will also die. But he doesn't plan on running or losing. They end up joining sides, which Zaryusu waits outside. He turns back to see this bush monster. It's Crush Lulu who thinks that it's Halloween. What's up with the fit?
Oh, does it look bad on me?
Would you like me to say that it looks good? I will. Brother got max game. She explains that she needs it to protect her sensitive skin. Zaryusu is heading to the Dragon Tusk village, which Crush Lulu also wants to join him. Zaryusu is hesitant to let his woman come, but he eventually agrees. Zaryusu arrives at the Green Claw tribe. They are a tribe of warriors, and he calls out the main leader. He emerges, and he's a freaking battle-worn beast. The guy's surprised when he sees that one of the lizard clans are led by a bush. Before Zaryusu can say anything though, he says that he knows why they're here to unite, right? Well, he'll only follow those who are strong. The same goes for his tribe. He tells everyone Zaryusu will become the new chief if he loses. Zaryusu decides to also wager something. His soon-to-be wife. Dude is like, bet. I'll see why you're so down bad for her when I win this. Zaryusu is not about to let that happen, so he steps forward like a G, which Big Boy tries to cut him down. Zaryusu counters but gets blocked. As they stand off, the greenie gets the upper hand in strength. Zaryusu catches himself before clashing with the greenie and disarming him. Despite this, the dude looks not done, which Zaryusu suddenly gets slashed. He falls down and the two go at it again. The big greenie here is a monk lizard who tells Zaryusu to use the special ability of Frostpaint. He had fought a previous user in the past and was heavily damaged, but he's now stronger. Despite him asking, Zaryusu refuses, and Monk thinks that he's being looked down on. But after Zaryusu says that, you know damn well I respect you, he's like, yeah, you're right, before charging forward and kicking him into the sky. Everyone watches as Zaryusu is getting overwhelmed by the monk's attack. The monk guy looks like he's winning, but Zaryusu is blocking it and hurting him just by being passive. His fist connects, but he's the only one being hurt. Zaryusu parries him, and they get into a standoff. The monk finally gives up and says, damn, what's up with that weapon? Crush Lulu comes to Zaryusu's aid, and as she heals him, the monk comes over jealous and asks for some healing as well. Well, that hurt like hell. Feels like I'm completely frozen. Zaryusu says that his weapon is pretty much a cheat code, since just him blocking and attacking can cause frost damage to his opponents. Now that I'm proving my strength to you and your tribe, can we finally start talking about the upcoming battle? Not yet. We need to prepare first. These boring talks are a lot better when you're drunk off the zoo. Let's get started. You cannot be serious. Their entire clan settles down and drink, while the three heads here speak about what they should do. Monk wants to know if they are able to win. Zaryusu says that they'll definitely be able to win the war and whoop the so-called Great One. Hell yeah! Now you're talking. Crush Lulu decides to be a downer and says that what's the point if we die? I'd rather be locked up than be free and dead. What the hell? Zaryusu and Monk don't agree. He says that their people wouldn't be able to enjoy a life like this if they were in prison. She ends up agreeing and says, just don't get killed. Yeah, I am still waiting for your answer after all. Zaryusu makes it back to his brother, who greets him. He says that things went really well. His brother sees him with a plant monster and asks what that is. Zaryusu tells him it's the woman he loves and going to marry. His brother called it. He knew that Zaryusu would eventually find a woman. The chief have a meeting to discuss the battle plan. There are 5,000 undead waiting within the forest, while they only have 1,300. The enemy, though, doesn't have any commander. Zaryusu proposes an idea to create an elite squad consisting of only the chiefs, so when the enemy leader shows their face, they can instantly counter. While they prepared over the next few days, the head of the attacking force finally sends the order to attack the lizardmen. As they waited and prepared, a dark cloud advances, and thousands of undead legions charge forward. The brother of Zaryusu gives us a battle speech. They'll be sending these bastards back to the grave. To victory! The battle begins as the swarm of undead attacks. The lizardmen are doing quite well, but the enemy cavalry poses a big problem. The team realizes that the bastards are trying to flank their lines. Luckily, they prepare for this by setting up holes to trip the enemy cavalry before sending boulders into their faces. The battle is going quite well, that is until thousands of arrows are fired upon the lizardmen. They have archers. The lizardmen charge, using their arms to block the incoming arrows before smacking these bastards. The chief now knows the enemy lacks any real strategy. Monk is getting quite impatient, waiting, but the skeleton guy says he can have all the fun he wants when the enemy leader appears. The enemy forces release hordes of dogs that destroy any lizardman in his path. Even this pig and giant bear appears on the battlefield to mess things up. They have a counter for this. It's these giant swamp elementals that look like Play-Doh, but they easily rip these beasts to pieces. Crush is impressed that by working together, they are able to create such amazing things. The two already want to go back home and make babies. The enemy leader realizes that he's underestimated the lizardmen, so after trying to get some help, he ends up sending in the reserves. Elderlich, advance! Show the lizardmen your might. The lizardmen, on the other hand, are winning the battle. One tells the other to drag the injured to safety, but as he's about to charge, a giant fireball blasts his fellow men to sunder. It's this 9,000-year-old man who's throwing overpowered fireballs at them. They begin retreating, while some of them buy time to let the others get out of here. They charge but get annihilated by the scorching fireballs. The lizardmen are now getting killed, which the chief now knows it's time for them to make a move. Crush wonders how they will get close enough, which Zaryusu knows how. Rororo, the goat, begins charging this old maniac, and as he fires fireballs at him, Rororo begins eating them for breakfast. The dude is like, take more of this, but Rororo keeps on pushing like a G. His aura begins making the guy panic, and as the guy sends more fireballs, Zaryusu appears and creates a wall of ice that protects Rororo. The crew was actually on Rororo's back, and they begin charging into battle together. Thank you, Rororo. Another blast of hellfire comes flying in, but Zaryusu easily blocks it. Shoot as many as you like, I'll counter every single one of them. The Elder Lich gets pissy and says try blocking this, but the monk takes one for the team and easily overpowers it. He's a little hurt, but the Elder Lich isn't done. He summons a bunch of skeleton warriors and tells them to bow their heads, and he'll make sure that they die painlessly. Zaryusu, though, isn't about to bend over for no one, so the Lich sends his warriors forward. The team charge while Monk takes on the skeleton warriors, buying them some time to engage with the Elder Lich. The Lich moves and tries to make Zaryusu crap his pants using a spell that harnesses his deepest fears. Crush isn't about to let Zaryusu go out like that and saves him. She gets instantly killed though, but it allows Zaryusu to close the distance. The dude tries firing magic pellets, but Zaryusu blocks it. As they engage, Zaryusu's woman is still alive. The brother Monk is as well. That's it, Zaryusu. I'm just gonna take a nap right here in the middle of the battlefield now. Zaryusu is still fighting this cracked Elder Lich. The dude is unreasonably nimble, making him impossible to hit. Zaryusu is taking a lot of damage, so Crush casts magic to heal him. He gets rejuvenated and manages to land a hit. The Lich tries to use an area attack, but Zaryusu can't allow that. So to protect his friends, he creates a massive storm of ice that freezes him and the surrounding area. Huh. The code doesn't work on me, you simpleton. You were only hurting yourself. I'll find your corpse and... Zaryusu lands a perfect hit. Even the Lich can't believe that he's about to die by a filthy lizard. He reaches out to grab his brother's throat, attempting to snap his neck and kill him off. But Zaryusu has a power of friendship moment. It can't end here. So with that, through just willpower, he raises his arm and tells his brother that he's finished before delivering the final blow. The dude disappears into nothingness while Zaryusu collapses from exhaustion. He did it. They won. While his people celebrate, big things are happening behind the scene. This wasn't a victory. They haven't won back the future just yet. The boys begin celebrating and drinking to their victory. They conversate, but all of them know they might have won this battle, but with this, the so-called Great One will probably come after them now. Monk asks why Zaryusu isn't here. His brother says that he's probably out there resting somewhere, but we all know that Crush and him are doing anything but resting. Don't make a nuisance of yourself, you hear? The brother actually wakes up to his girl sleeping on his chest. They're about to make babies, but Monk randomly interrupts them. Just the next day though, the lizardmen realize how cooked they are, cause the so-called Great One has appeared way sooner than they anticipated. The army before them is no longer just regular undeads, but they all have crazy powerful magic armor and weapons. The wind itself suddenly gets cold, which Crush Lulu realizes that someone who's extremely powerful is using control weather. The Great One we keep hearing about must be coming. Zaryusu's brother tells everyone to stand tall before approaching his brother, who says that this doesn't look like battle preparation. The army parts way for a being who looks like the Elder Lich, but if it was on steroids. Is that the freaking ruler of death? The being creates a pillar of magical circles that even Crush Lulu is unable to fathom. Before long, the spell unleashes its full power, engulfing the entire landscape and turning it into a field of ice. Everyone gets to a high ground and the priest heals the ones who were affected. The monk knows that must be the Great One. Well, they have no chance at all. Zaryusu thinks that he must be dreaming because this colossal titan walks towards them. It's not a dream. They really are this doom. It lifts up a giant boulder and launches it over, smack dab right in the middle of the place. Before long, thousands of skeletons traverse the field. They pile onto each other in stair formation. Then the flag of Nazarick is held up high, and the leader of this great nation walks like a G past his servants. This isn't battle preparation, but a royal procession. These clearly very dangerous beings make it to the top, where this Great One summons the throne and settles down. Before summoning these innocent, happy-looking pigeons that swoop over the lizardmen, it pretty much tells everyone that the Great One wishes to speak with them. It flies away, and this lady here completely erases them. Wow, all of that just for a conversation. My brother, will you walk with me? Yeah. His brother goes on ahead while he promises his waifu that he will return. He follows his brother, and as they walk, his brother thanks him for standing with him. Of course, they are brothers, and if they get killed, the tribe will only have lost one chief and some random traveler. They stand before the Great One and proudly introduce themselves, but it's clear that this Great One ain't pleased, and the lady besides him begins flaming all lizard kind. She turns to this guy called Demiurge and says, "Prostrate yourselves," instantly making them slam their heads into the ground. Do not resist. They are unable to move their bodies at all. This pleases the lady, and the Great One allows them to lift up their heads. I am the Great Master of Nazarick, Ainzu Go. First, I shall express my gratitude for assisting in my experiments. This Great One pretty much says, you are all gonna become my subjects, but since you did win, I'm gonna send out one of my most powerful subjects to wipe the floor with you all. If you manage to be his overpowered self, I'll leave you and your people alone. We surrender. Nah, who said you could just surrender? You're gonna fight whether you like it or not. And the Great One prepares to leave and tells them they only have 4 hours to prepare for their deaths. Zaryusu dares to ask if the ice here will melt, but the Great One says that he didn't want to dirty himself with their mud and would dispel it later. The Great One leaves along with his servants, of course, not without clowning their entire species. You are now free to move. After all of them left, it's clear that the brothers are frustrated by this event. When they got back to the village, everyone is pretty stomped. His brother says that we'll call all the warriors to fight. Maybe we can win. Could I ask? It'd just be us. Zaryusu explains that the Great One is unlikely to kill them all because he wants them as subjects. But to honor his wishes of a battle, only the strongest will get to die today. But not all of them can die. One must stay and lead, and it ain't gonna be any of the men. It will be Crush Lulu who will lead the survivors after their deaths. She becomes outraged and cannot believe that they are leaving her out of this upcoming battle. She asks why Zaryusu is willing to stop fighting now. He explains that it's cause his people have been given a chance alive. His waifu is angry, so the rest of the chiefs leaves her and Zaryusu alone to figure things out. He tries to make her understand, but she's not about to let him die. Not after everything they went through. She's fallen in love. I refuse to let the woman I love die like that. Will you please grant this foolish male his dying wish? She finds it very unfair that she has to watch the one she loves walk towards his very end. But Zaryusu is prepared and is unwilling to turn back now. They of course have their final embrace.
impregnate me.
Now, the Great One actually caught them clapping, but I'm only covering the goat Zaryusu and his brother for this video. Time's up. It's time for battle. The warriors are ready and the skeleton here begin stomping their feet. The trees begin to fall beneath of whatever is coming. It's powerful and will surely be their last. As the stompy feet comes to a halt, the massive warrior emerges. This giant monstrous bug is Kokaitis, who stands before them. Listen carefully. Do not hold back. The Great One is watching. Only your best will satisfy him. He reaches his arm out and summons pillars of ice. Warriors, beyond this point will be your last, so cross only if you are prepared to meet your end. How about that? Monsters with manners. These brothers don't even hesitate. They, of course, are warriors from birth to last. The young ones try to join, but the chief here says they must live for the other folks. They want to fight, but chief here makes it clear that while they have a choice, he doesn't. The old warriors step in. They'll have the chance to honor one day, but right now, only the greatest of warriors can face this powerful foe.
Sorry to keep you waiting, Kokaitis! For the ancestors!
The warriors charged fearlessly past the pillars of ice, marking their final brave moments. But Kokaitis doesn't plan on dragging this battle out for too long, so with just a swing of his arm, he summons bursts of cold frost that quickly turns into a blast of death. Those who were hit no longer moved nor breathed. The few warriors that did stand were no other than the strongest of the lizardmen. Despite the overwhelming odds, the warriors prepare their attacks and the other charges. The stone hits the foe, but it does nothing. He makes it clear that he's immune to all ranged attacks. The other comes in like a beast, but Kokaitis responds by pulling out a blade called God-Slaying Emperor Blade that instantly kills the warrior. The others don't falter though. Monk prepares an attack before launching it. It gets blocked and Kokaitis cuts off his entire arm with ease. The monk is completely done for, but Zaryusu spares him some moments by attacking. Kokaitis ends up praising him. Well, he praises the weapon actually. Zaryusu tries kneeing him, but it only hurts himself. He gets sent flying with a tail attack. Kokaitis doesn't even acknowledge him. His brother is here to heal them though, and the monk is back on his feet again. These swamp elementals come in for support, but they are taken out before they can even do anything. Zaryusu is hurt badly, but he still wishes to fight. Kokaitis decides to return his weapon before facing the three ahead of him. One fires many shots into him, but Kokaitis finds it very annoying and sends icicles into his body that instantly kills him. Monking done, he charges forward in a mad rage, but it was all meaningless since he was cut down in an instant. Only 2 warriors out of hundreds stand before this great threat, Kokaitis. The brothers have their final moments, but despite this, Zaryusu and his great weapon won't give up. What a fine war cry. They of course make sure not to keep their foe waiting, but Kokaitis is in no such rush, not when brothers are saying their goodbyes. Prepare yourselves. No, forgive me. You were prepared for death long before we crossed blades. Kokaitis asks for their names. The chief, Zaryusu Shasha, and his brother Zaryusu obliges. Kokaitis respects them both. He apologizes for having to go easy on them. Usually, he would wield 4 weapons, but they are strong enough for that. Damn, that's a damn shame, innit? It sure is. The brothers are ready to go. Zaryusu sends blasts of swamp at Kokaitis, who barely reacts to it. I see. It was all a distraction though for Zaryusu to drive his weapon, Frostpaint, forward. While that happened, his brother Zaryusu comes charging in, but Kokaitis instantly cuts him down before insulting his loud sneak attack. Zaryusu though has seen all his brothers fall. He pours everything into this one attack, which Kokaitis finds it admirable. Despite managing to land a solid hit, it was never even able to touch Kokaitis. He apologizes, since his attack is too weak to even touch him. Zaryusu's efforts were all in vain at best. Well fought. Crush Lulu was brought in front of the Great One. She's completely at his mercy and says her race will serve him without resistance. Crush Lulu trembles as the Great One touches her shoulder. He says that he has but one request. She's willing to do anything, but this is more like an offer. If she accepts, he'll return Zaryusu to life. She's shocked, but he says life is nothing but a toy for him to play with. Crush Lulu asks what his demands are and wonders if he wants her lean beef patty. But surprisingly, the Great One is a vegan and becomes very shocked. He says nah. He only wants her to make sure that no one in her tribe betrays him. She says no one would do such a thing, but he doesn't believe it. As she thinks, he makes it clear that if she agrees to spy on her own people, he'll revive her love. But to ensure that she doesn't betray him, he'll cast a curse on Zaryusu that will crush his heart if she were to turn against Ainzun Gong. He stands up and says, time is up. It's time for you to make your choice. It's obvious which choice Crush made. As Zaryusu finds himself being pulled towards the light, he awakes to Crush Lulu hugging him. He thinks she's also been killed and maybe that this is heaven. The Grey One greets him and notices that due to his resurrection, Zaryusu has lost some levels. Zaryusu is very confused, but after realizing, he prostrates himself and asks for his people to prosper. Ainzo Gon accepts and tells him to rest up, then speak to Kokaitis for instructions. Zaryusu asks for his brothers to be revived though. At first, Ainzo Gon hesitates, but says he'll consider it after Zaryusu says his brothers will be of use to him. After this, Zaryusu and Crush Lulu can finally live in peace. Now it's time to rank our boy Zaryusu on the G tier list. He's going to be in Giga Chat tier, no question about that. Thanks a lot for watching guys, and make sure you get your push-ups in.